Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe Hoops with your boy, Nikki P. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about the old faithful, the thing that can never let you down and never betray you when it comes to the game of basketball, and that's great footwork. Let me ask you something. When you think of the great basketball players of all time, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it the stat sheet? Is it the 30 points per game, the championships? Sure, those are the headlines, but I'm here to tell you that true greatness, the kind that makes your hair stand up when you watch the film at 2 a.m., doesn't live in the box score. It lives in the 2 to 3 inches between the floor and the player's foot. Yep, that's the soul of that sneaker. We've been seduced by vertical athleticism. We love the dunk. We love the three-pointer. But the secret sauce, the secret library of the game, the text that the Immortals read is footwork. If you want to be recognized not just as an all-star, but as one of the greatest to ever lace them up, you have to understand this. It's a must. Your hands will fail you in the playoffs. Your jump shot will go cold here and there. But your feet never lie. When you turn on the film and watch the true masters, your eyes don't lie to you. You see a symphony of pivots, rips, and angles. Today, we're going to walk through that library. The big man, the post as a chessboard. Let's start up in the paint. For decades, we thought big men were just giants who stood under the rim. Wrong. The greatest bigs were dancers out there. Take Hakeem Olajuwon. They call it the dream shake, but it wasn't just a dream. It was geometry. It was poetry in motion. Hakeem understood that a defender reacts to your hips. He would catch the ball on the left block, one fake pivot to the middle, the defender bites, a reverse pivot onto the baseline, the defender recovers, then the up and under. But watch his feet. He never travels like you see all the time in today's NBA. His pivot foot is tacked, welded to the floor until the exact millisecond it needs to lift. That's why he leads the NBA in all time. That's why he leads the NBA all time in blocks. Not because he was tall, but because his footwork put him in the right spot before the shooter left the ground. Then you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The sky hook is an arm move, right? Nah. Dig a little deeper. The sky hook is a leg move. Kareem's footwork allowed him to seal the defender on his hip, take a step parallel to the baseline, and jump off the opposite foot. That separation created by his feet, not his arms. Now contrast that with Shaquille O'Neal. People think Shaq was just power and just bulldozed through people. Go watch the Lakers three-peat film and refresh that memory. Shaq's black tornado move, the drop step into a power dunk, required devastatingly precise footwork. If he was off by 6 inches, he'd get a charge. He was 325 pounds moving like a middleweight because his feet were fast. But let's talk about the thinkers. Sabonis, Arvydas Sabonis, the elder, had destroyed knees, yet he was a genius even past his prime because he used the pivot jab. Bill Walton in Portland ran the offense from the high post with the step through. Kevin Garnett used the catapult turnaround. That high leg kick wasn't for show. It was a brake pad to stop his momentum so he could rise straight up and knock down that jumper. And finally, Tim Duncan, the old fundamental, the big fundamental. Duncan's bank shot was unblockable because of his 1-2 drop step from the mid-post. He always landed on 2 feet in traffic to survey the defense. Kevin McHale, the master of the up and under. He had a move where he would pump, step through, pump again, and then lay it in. The defender was always exactly where McHale's feet used to be. If you're a big man today and you can't pivot on either foot, you are a traffic cone. Go watch all these guys and study them that I just mentioned in depth. It will get your footwork right as a big. Greatness demands that you are a ballerina in a storm. Now let's move on to the wings, back to the basket and a guard's body. Let's slide outside to where they do work out on the perimeter, not just in the paint on the block. The 90s and 2000s gave us the post-up guard. This is where footwork becomes artistry. Michael Jordan didn't just have a fadeaway. He had a fall-away. The difference? Jordan would catch the ball at the elbow, back his defender down with 2-3 dribbles, and execute a reverse pivot into a fade. But watch his off foot. It would slide back to create a full foot of space. That foot created the air between his elbow and the defender's hand. This is one of the major crucial regions why he carried his team to 6 straight championships. Not straight, but 3-3. Took a little break in between. Y'all know the story. But it was because of that great footwork that even once his athleticism slowed down, he was still just as unstoppable. Then we move on to the apprentice, Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe studied the Black Mamba, he studied Jordan, and perfected footwork. Kobe had a jab step series from the post so fast that defenders would fly by him. He used the inside pivot to go middle and the outside pivot to go baseline. He had a series of step throughs, turnaround jumpers over the right shoulder, over the left shoulder. We've all seen it. I mean, the man was impeccable, and his footwork was top notch. And even similar to Jordan, when his athleticism started declining, he was just as effective and just as dominant because of how great his footwork was. Truly unstoppable. And now let's move on to Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. I know y'all remember them as high flyers, but go back and watch that film and watch the footwork and the ability they were and all the ability they had without dunking. Two of the most gifted athletes ever. McGrady had his hang dribble into a step back jumper, requiring him to plant his feet, his right foot, jump backward and land on 2 feet. He could also do all the, footwork routine that Jordan and Kobe could do. Kobe once said, man, McGrady could do everything I do, but just in a 6'9" body frame. I mean, they had some battles out there where they were putting footwork and losing each other, even though they were competing extremely hard on the defensive end. And Vince Carter, man, had exceptional footwork without traveling. All of them had exceptional footwork without traveling. Vince relied more on explosion. He's known for the dunking. But go watch that Toronto film. The footwork was impeccable with the spin moves, the fadeaway jumpers. It all came together like one perfect symphony. And let's not forget about the Portland Trailblazer great, Brandon Roy. Although his prime and career was short-lived with knee issues and different ailments and injuries, he was the natural. Why? He used the hesitation pivot. He would drive, stop on a dime, pivot 360 degrees, and rise up. His feet did the work, so his knees didn't have to. These wings were 6'5" through 6'9", with the same comfort level to play with their back to the basket as a power forward or a center. They understood that positionless basketball doesn't mean aimless basketball. It means the feet dictate the position. The small guys, the face-up fury. If footwork is critical for bigs and for wings, it's oxygen for small guards. When you're 6 feet in the land of giants, your feet are your shield. Allen Iverson, the crossover. Most people think it's a dribble move. It's not. It's a foot fake. AI would jab his left foot so hard toward the left as if he's about to attack the basket that the defender's weight completely shifted to that direction. Then he would cross his right foot over the line. That foot forced the defender to open his hips. The dribble was just a trailer. The feet were the truck. Steve Franchise. He had the most violent hip swivel in history. His Spider-Man move, a double crossover into a spin, required him to jump stop on a dime. If his feet were sloppy, he travels. But because his footwork was impeccable, he turned a potential violation into a SportsCenter highlight on the regular. And then we have Kyrie Irving. Kyrie is the ultimate case study. Watch his footwork finishing package. When he drives, he uses the pro hop to jump stop and go around a shot blocker. He uses the reverse layup step, or similar to what AI used to do all the time, where his outside foot crossed over to protect the ball. He uses the messy step, that tiny microscopic hop before Euro stepping. Kyrie has some of the best footwork in NBA history relative to size because he treats every dribble like a chess move. You can't be 6'2" and finish over Porzingis unless your feet have already moved Porzingis out of the way before you leave the ground. The universal truth. It's not just basketball. Now let's zoom out and look at the macrocosm, the big picture. Why is footwork the root of all true greatness in sport, period, and not just basketball? Let's dive into it. Look at Jerry Rice. Look at Marvin Harrison of the NFL, two of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. They weren't the fastest. Well, Marvin Harrison was super fast, but Jerry Rice wasn't one of the fastest receivers of all time. But watch their film, their route running, the curl, the digs, the slants, the post corners. It was pristine because of their plant foot. Jerry Rice's cut was so sharp, it would tear the grass. Marvin Harrison's cuts in and out of his breaks on different routes were so impeccable that he would just have 3 to 5 yards past defenders, looking as if they just didn't try to play defense on a play where you're scoring touchdowns or getting big gains. Look at Deion Sanders. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Look at Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis. Deion, the greatest corner ever, and Darrelle Revis might be the runner-up right behind him. Revis Island. Darrelle Revis didn't have elite 40 speed at the end of his career, but he had mirror footwork. The back pedal, the hip flip, the drive step. He stayed step for step with Marvin Harrison because his angles were perfect. technique over speed. And Deion Sanders, y'all already know the story. The best lockdown defender, corner in all of NFL history, in large part due to footwork. There's even videos of him showing, playing around with Ocho Cinco as if they're about to guard each other. And he's telling Ocho that he's telegraphing his route with his foot. He's giving them game, even after they're both Hall of Famers and two of the best at their respective positions ever. Deion was still teaching these guys the game and telling them about the footwork and how he would shut these receivers down. It's all in the footwork. Let's bring it over to soccer. Look at Pele, look at Messi, look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi's La Pelopina, his body feint, is entirely a foot dance. He moves the ball 2 inches and moves his plant foot 10 inches. The defender flies by. Ronaldo's C jump, that's power from the calves, but his step overs, pure deceptive foot placement. And Pele, in many circles, he's the greatest of all time. You don't reach that type of feat without having great, impeccable footwork, especially when it comes to the game of soccer. It's not brute force that you can use out there and like you can in some other sports. In every sport that requires lateral motion, the lower body is the engine. The upper body is just steering the wheel. Let's bring it back to the hardwood, good old basketball court. Conclusion, the humility of the feat. If you want to be great, not just good, not just a stat filler, but immortal, a type of player where people don't need to go look at a stat sheet. They can just cut the film on and remember and see how truly great you were. You have to fall in love with the boredom of footwork. You have to do the ladder drills. You have to practice the reverse pivot 10,000 times. You have to learn the jump stop until it's automatic. Because when the lights are the brightest, when the defense tightens, and when your adrenaline is maxed out, you won't rise to the level of your hopes. You'll fall to the level of your training. And if your training ignored your feet, you will travel, you will charge, you will turn the ball over, and you will get blocked and be having some ugly plays out there where people are wondering what it is that you're doing. But if you train your feet, you become Hakeem, you become Jordan, you become Kobe. The stat sheet records the points. The ring records the win. But the film is the end-all be-all. The film records the truth. And the truth is that the greatest players to ever lace them up are not the strongest, not the fastest. They are the most grounded. Greatness begins at the floor. Respect your feet. Once again, it's your boy Nikki P. You locked in with Eat, Sleep, Breathe, the Hoops. And until the next time, peace.